YouTube, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the show. You need to stop what you're doing and turn up the volume. This one right here, it's gonna hit home. Larry Fink, yes, BlackRock's Larry Fink, the only Larry Fink you know. He just said something on CNBC that basically confirms what the XRP army has been screaming for years. He said, and I quote, "We are at the beginning of our tokenization, that is real world assets." He says from real estate to equities, all the way to bonds across the board. Now, folks, that's not just talk. That is the same script that Ripple has been building since 2013. But here's the crazy part. The moves happening right now behind the scenes, the SEC drama, the partnerships, the sudden mainstream narrative shift, it is all starting to align. We've got Ondo Finance calling out the NASDAQ. We got Trump backing crypto like it's a new Manhattan project. And Larry Fink, the one and only, quietly laying the groundwork for a $400 trillion financial reset. With XRP, it's sitting right in the middle of it. By the end of this video, you're going to see exactly why this moment might be the final confirmation that XRP, it's not just another altcoin. It is the backbone of the next global financial system. And speaking of flipping the script, check this out for a second. House of Doge, this is big. So Dogecoin's corporate arm, House of Doge, they officially went public on the NASDAQ this week under the ticker TBH. That's right, we're seeing more and more companies going public like this. So that meme coin, Dogecoin, it just became a Wall Street company. And check out who they're backed by. They're backed by Citadel, Mozax, Pantera, and they are a partner with Robinhood and 21 Shares. This isn't some side project anymore, right? This is the payments engine for the next Dogecoin era, which is coming. The guy running it, Marco, he literally sold his payments company to Pfizer for $270 million. And now he's teaming up with Elon Musk lawyer, Alex Spiro, who is chairing the official Dogecoin treasury, which holds more than 700 million Doge through ClearZone. So here's the reality. Dogecoin isn't just surviving the bear market. It is industrializing. Yield products, payment rails, real world integrations. It is all happening right now. If you thought Dogecoin peaked in 2021, think again. This is the moment where we've got memes are meeting mainstream, and Doge, well, it's finally starting acting like money. That is huge right there. Without further ado, let's dive on in, folks. Up first, you see it right there on your screen. This is huge. We're talking about the secret war over tokenization that is going on. I talk about Ondo a lot. I firmly do believe Ondo is a sleeping giant, and a lot of people kick themselves in their butt for not doing their own research and looking into this project. So first up, Ondo, they just told the SEC they better pump the brakes on NASDAQ's tokenized securities plan. Right, thinking why though? Because they are saying it is too secretive and gives an unfair advantage to the same Wall Street players who crashed the system in the first place. Now let that sink in for a second. DeFi is literally calling out TradeFi for trying to hijack tokenization. This is a power struggle for who gets to control the rails of the new and the next digital economy. Here's the hidden layer that most people are missing here. The NASDAQ, they're not trying to innovate. They're trying to own the pipes. Ondo's resistance, it isn't just about fairness. It is about preventing the old guard from rebuilding the same broken system on the blockchain. Now, where have we heard about the old guard before and giving up ownership and stepping aside? Remind you of Ripple, right? You do know Ripple and Ondo are partners. If you don't, you do now. But guess who stands to benefit if decentralization actually wins this round? Projects like Ripple. Because the XRP ledger, it's already ISO 20022 compliant. It's already running at institutional scale. And already for what NASDAQ is, well, they're still trying to figure out. Keep that in your head, because this isn't just regulations. This is the battle for digital Wall Street of the future. Now, folks, before I play this clip, make sure you hit that thumbs up. It is the ultimate way and the freest way to support the channel. And hey, subscribe if you are not already subscribed. And we get over to this clip. This is Terrasium's CEO. This is a guy whose firm manages regulated ETFs. Well, he has come out and he has said that XRP has the strongest use case in all of crypto. That's not retail hopium. That is institutional code language. He's basically saying, we've tested everything out there, but XRP actually the only one that works and that can scale. That is a massive signal, because when Wall Street insiders, when they start talking about utility instead of just speculation, that's the transition from phase 1 hype to phase 2 adoption. Listen up.
Ripple's a company of really professional people working really hard on this. That's why we chose XRP. We believe in XRP. We're not making a price prediction, but we do believe it's a coin that will have the most utility out there. You know, Bitcoin is a store of value. I agree with Mike McGlone, but I think that XRP has a true use case. There's just no doubt about it. And the Ripple team, from the interaction we've had with them, they're really professional. They act like investment bankers over there. They know what they're doing, and they will make this work. Ripple's a company. Really
interesting, right? They act like investment bankers. I like that. I can get on board with that. Look, they're not chasing moonshots. What they're doing here is that they are building infrastructure, which puts us over to this. This is the same guy who's talking about how he believes that Ripple and XRP are going to win the game. Listen.
Not a real Solana or Ethereum guy, but XRP I get. And XRP, the Ripple team, I understand the financial system. I understand the banking system to some degree. And I understand, as we all do, when you try to send a wire, it's a hassle. And, you know, in the old days, it was T+3 settlement. We're now at T+1 settlement for a lot of stocks and futures and options. Well, that's still ridiculous. Yeah. So anything that speeds up the system, the whole blockchain, the Ripple team from their outset have been out there laying the groundwork in the background to change the financial system, primarily through transfer of assets, primarily through replacing, hopefully, the SWIFT system, which is what wire transfers operate on.
Replacing the SWIFT system. This is music to our ears. This is exactly what we want to hear from these people who are up here. Now, let's jump over to the XRP real quick. Here is what we're looking at. At the time of this video, XRP is trading around 236. You see the green and red bars on your screen. Those are your support and resistance. We are currently sitting at the top of our last support region, which is okay. It is okay. 236 is like right above it. That's where it ends. If Bitcoin wants to cooperate, XRP has all the space to make its move up to 265, which will happen in the blink of an eye. And then we just have one more thick resistance zone sitting above that, which ends around $3.13. To me, this chart, this is screaming right here. This is screaming accumulation. You know what happens? The longer we accumulate, the stronger your base, the higher we go to space. Now, if we look at this chart even further, because a lot of people are getting nervous, and we're going to remove this scam wick that Binance called, because that's not a real indicator. It looks like we are testing back all the way to July, where XRP made its breakout. If we take a measured move from there to the top of the breakout, it was pretty much a 2x move that we are looking at. As I say, whatever goes up in a vertical shot, a 2x, 3x, 5x, I don't care, there is going to be a point where we retest it. It is normal. It happens. It seems to me we are making that exact retest now before what comes is the ultimate moonshot on upward. And yes, it's going a lot higher than $5, folks. Don't let that arrow confuse you. I'm just showing you we're going up, and we're going to go up fast. And then we jump over to this news piece. CoinMarketCap's head of research, well, she just dropped the bomb. An $150,000 Bitcoin target by the end of this year. Let that sink in. You got people screaming that we're in a bear market. I want to remind you, you do understand Bitcoin just made a new all-time high a couple of weeks ago. We're still above $100,000 on Bitcoin. This move started around the $70,000 range. This is not a bear market. If you can tell me Bitcoin's in a bear market at $100,000, please listen Listen up here.
For BTC and Ether, BTC, I think for 150K, that has been our prediction based on a lot of the factors based on price performance, momentum, CMC Fair and Great Index. We have a lot of community sentiment that we collect as well. So that has been the prediction consistently for Q4. That has not been changed despite, this slight downturn that just happened. So for BTC, that level. For Ether, really don't know at the moment. There's so many things happening, but to your point of what else are gonna really progress in this Q4, we are seeing the strong performance of DeFi, especially for perp dexes and also for lending products, as well as do the consistent development on the yield stablecoin side. So those three are still going to be a very strong push in the DeFi ecosystem for us. Apart from that is some of the applications, some of the potentially, launchpad.
Look, here's where it gets spicy because every time Bitcoin leads, liquidity flows down. It's been the same thing since I've been in the space since 2017. And when institutional money floods in at the top, it's going to seek utility. You see where this is going, right? XRP is not competing with Bitcoin. It's positioning beneath it as the infrastructure layer for tokenized value. Bitcoin lights the fire, but XRP, it builds the grid, everyone. And remember, the government's going to open at some point. When the government opens, we're going to get real economic data. We're going to understand what's going on. We're going to have Fed rate cuts incoming again. That is not priced in yet. Plus, we have all those ETFs that are going to come to life at some point. And President Trump, he literally said crypto could be the greatest revolution in finance since the internet. That is a political green light if I've ever heard one for mass adoption. Remember, this is the same guy meeting with pro-crypto advisors. And rumor has it that he's been briefed on Ripple's role in the financial innovation sector. And Ripple is attending his gala ball. You think the White House knows what's going on and what Ripple is doing and building? Remember, Ripple is in the US. Trump is about US first before anything else happens. Listen to him.
This could be perhaps the greatest revolution in financial technology since the birth of the internet itself. A lot of people are saying that. I don't know. What do you guys think? Yes? If you say yes, I'm saying yes.
You say yes, I'm saying yes. Look, what's happening right now, it is not random. It is all coordinated and it's bipartisan. And then what do we see here on the screen? This is Bitcoin's hash rate. It just hit 1,104 exahashes per second. This is an all-time high. That's absolutely insane. You're probably thinking, Rip, what does this even mean? Well, it means that the network has never been stronger, even during a market downturn. But think about it like this. While Bitcoin is securing the network layer of crypto, XRP is securing the liquidity layer of finance. Different lanes, same highway, and both are building towards the same destination, a full-scale tokenized globalization, which brings us to Mr. Larry Fink, the man himself, the $1 trillion man is what I like to call him. He was on CNBC and he stated, we are just at the beginning of real world asset tokenization. He says from real estate to equity to bonds across the board. Folks, this isn't speculation anymore. You have your confirmation from Larry Fink himself, the CEO of the world's largest asset manager. We're talking $10 trillion under management. That's the tokenization narrative that he's talking about right here. It's real, it's imminent, and it is absolutely massive. Listen to this.
I do believe we're just at the beginning of the tokenization of all assets, from real estate to equities to bonds across the board. There's $4.1 trillion of money sitting globally in digital wallets. A lot of that money is outside the United States. If we could tokenize a ETF, digitize that ETF, we could have investors who are just beginning to, invest in markets through, let's say, crypto. They're investing in it, but now we could get them into the more traditional long-term retirement products. So we look at that as the next wave of opportunity for BlackRock over the next tens of years as we start moving away from, traditional financial assets, repotting them in a digital manner, and then having people stay in that digital ecosystem.
Repotting them so people stay in that digital ecosystem. Now, here's where conspiracy becomes reality. BlackRock is already partnering with Ripple through intermediaries like Securitize and Van Eck. And what are they building? tokenized frameworks. The same tokenization Larry just told you about. You understand that, right? Do you see how this is all connecting together? This is exactly how the institutions move. They deny it, they then dismiss it, and then what do? They take over and dominate us, which leads us to an article from TradingView. Talk about the $400 trillion XRP revolution. And that revolution is the tokenization of real-world assets. It's going to be a $400 trillion market, and Ripple's tech, from what I can see, is going to be at the center of it. Because here's what's wild. XRP Ledger already handles 40,000 TPSs. It's ISO 20022 ready. It settles instantly and it's built for interoperability. That is exactly what the global banking system needs after SWIFT moves off the old MT system next year. The November 2025 SWIFT upgrade that we are all ready for, less than a month away. In coordination with Ripple Swell in November as well. How funny is that? That's your final domino. XRP is already compliant. The others, they are all scrambling to catch up. So if you ever wondered why Ripple kept fighting the SEC instead of folding, this is why. They weren't protecting XRP from regulators. They were buying time for the rest of the world to catch up to what they have already built. So now let's connect the dots here for a second. Okay. Ondo's busy calling out the NASDAQ. You got Tersuums validating XRP's actual utility. Larry Fink is confirming tokenization is the next frontier, and Ripple is just quietly sitting right in the middle. ISO ready, bank integrated, and already battle tested for over a decade. Folks, it's not a conspiracy. This is all coordinated at this point. The infrastructure for the new financial world, it's being built right now, brick by brick, or should we say brick by digital brick. And whether you believe it or not, XRP, it's positioned at the backbone. So yeah, the future isn't coming. It's already here. And Larry Fink, he just confirmed it. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit that thumbs up on your way out. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'll be back. I got another ace lined up.